Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Before we start, let me fix this. Got this way too big. Hold on, let me fix this. Yeah, we're gonna get into a few things, man. I wanted to play this. What's the name? On my guy Acho and LaShawn McCoy show. They're talking about Shedeur Sanders. You know, he just got his first little. Hold on, let me bring this up real quick. He's had his first little. He had his first start, and well, he played obviously in the previous game, but he didn't start that game. So this is his first start. Played a decent game. I mean, still, he's had his first little. He had his first start, and but he played obviously in the previous game, but he didn't start that game. So this is his first start. Played a decent game. I mean, ain't that some shit?
Oh, man.
Anyway, let's get into this. So, okay.
Look, moving forward, fellas.
I'm all fucked up right now. The hell? My bad. So, we're going to tap in, do the little sports commentating about Shedeur Sanders, because I fuck with Shedeur. They was hating on my boy. You know what I mean? They didn't really want to see him shine for whatever reason, whether it's with his pops. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's something about, you know, when black folks just have this aura about them, this confidence, it's confident, almost yet arrogant. But some reason, like, for me, I like it, especially when it comes to competition. You know what I mean? Boxing, people used to always be like, oh, Floyd Mayweather, he too cocky. Bro, it's boxing, it's sports, it's competition. What you supposed to be? You know what I mean? Like, everybody still got their humble side, but it's not wrong with being confident in what you do. So Shedeur is very confident. He get that from his pops. And so I wanted to talk about that real quick, and then we're going to get into the politics. We're going to tap in with Liberal High Mind, go over this whole EBT thing. You know, they one big, beautiful bill about to pass, so they're about to change some things up. And my thing is this. I think it's good because, number one, it's going to make people realize that you're better off just working. This is better for you than just doing nothing. But more importantly, though, getting illegal immigrants off of welfare will, for me, I believe, make them voluntarily lead a country, which would be great. Less mouths to feed. Then we're going to tap in with Mornings with Marie. She going to go over this whole Comey and Letitia James situation. And then even though I went over the fraud thing a little bit in Minnesota with Tim Walz and Ilham Omar and all the Somalians and all of that, Brian Maxwell went into like a deep dive on it. So we're going to tap in with Brian Maxwell, and he's going to give us, a more of a deep dive on it. So let's get straight into it, man. Let's tap in with, Speak Easy, with LaShawn McCoy, Acho, and them. See what they're talking about with the Shedeur. Hold on. Tripping.
I was about to say something crazy.
Oh, no. You don't say nothing crazy.
After long last. Shedeur Sanders has been officially named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Can we get a round of applause? But hold up. Just so you believe it, I can't believe what I'm playing is a real video. This is not AI, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Stefanski himself.
They don't want to see my boy win.
Named Shedeur Sanders a starter. I'll let you guys take a listen.
Shedeur will start this week. Obviously, you know, number one job of a quarterback is to win. So excited to get that first win under his belt. And then next thing is improvement. And that's what young players do. Certainly young quarterbacks do. You get one game better, and that's just from working at it. So that'll be our focus.
That didn't come from him. At all. That didn't come from him. I got some important information for y'all. There's no better place to win.
It's like they almost just hate the fact that, it's like I know deep down, for real, bro, they really was hoping that Shedeur did not win this game so they can have every reason to keep him on the bench where they had him at. But they're literally, I don't know why, though. It's like, bro, listen, the whole point of drafting is to draft winners. You got Shedeur Sanders basically for a steal. 5th round. It's a steal. He was projected saying 1st round, definitely 2nd round. So to get him in the 5th is crazy. And the thing is, I think that was the best thing for Shedeur Sanders. Because, bro, honestly, we know you're the number one pick. You're going to the trashiest team. Cleveland is like, they got potential. They got some decent players over there. They don't need a full rebuild. They just need a couple, like another receiver, running back. I mean, a couple pieces on defense, and they're going to be a solid team. You know what I mean? And Shedeur, he's got that winning mentality, bro, that you need in sports. He has it. He has what it takes to be a winner. He proved that in Colorado. He proved that in Jackson State. He's a winner, bro. He's a Sanders, bro. Just like his dad. You know what I mean? Like, now, he still got to prove himself. But I seen him in Colorado. And I'm like, because I didn't watch him at Jackson State. I'm going to be honest. I watched him when he played in Colorado, and I'm like, I was actually shocked. I'm like, damn, he actually got it on. So I think he's going to do well over there. They definitely got some good pieces over there. So it's not like, Cam Ward kind of got a bad deal. But, hey, man, if you won that money, wanted to go 1st round, you're going to have to go to them trash teams, and you're going to have to prove yourself. So Cam Ward ain't looking good over there. I know he's sick. But anyway, let's finish up with this video.
Expert opinion, and I've been a part of the Cleveland Browns organization. I played in the NFL. My brother played in the NFL. Shady played in the NFL. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. That came from ownership. That came from Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, walking downstairs saying, hold on a second. Why didn't you name a starter? Shedeur just won. We haven't won since October 19th. Name Shedeur Sanders a starter. Remember, Jimmy Haslam was non-committal. Kevin Stefanski was non-committal last night to starting Shedeur. So how do you go from being non-committal to waking up, and all you've been on is a flight, to waking up the very next day and being like, yeah, Shedeur's a starter? Hell no. That, to me, came from the owner of the Cleveland Browns saying, if you don't start Shedeur, you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to get going. So, to me, that was a upstairs decision. Now, shout out to Kevin Stefanski for doing what he was told, but he didn't have no choice but to do it.
What I was going to say at the beginning of this show was free at last. Free at last. Shedeur Sanders is free at last.
Thank God Almighty.
My goodness. Thank God Almighty.
What is going into what? What's this, week 12? Week 13? They did my boy dirty, bro.
Mine eyes have seen the glory.
Oh my goodness.
I've seen the mountaintop.
Shedeur Sanders will start and get me 300 yards.
Mine eyes have seen the mountaintop.
Man. I'm sorry, bro. The internet is not a real place, man.
It's not, bro. It's not. It's not.
It
is not real, dog.
That's funny. That's crazy. Not AI, by the way. Not AI.
On a serious note,
This is crazy, bro.
yo, but reading that, not reading, but hearing Stefanski, yo, he really didn't want to say them words, yo.
That is
yo,
wild.
that killed him to say Shedeur's a starter.
Oh, man.
Bro, you ain't getting no wins in so long, and the young boy get a win, and you don't want to make him a starter. It take the owner to do it.
It's crazy.
Thank God for MLK, man.
Oh man. I mean, MLK. Somebody
said-
not in this situation.
Somebody in the chat said MLK had a bust down.
Here's the thing, though. In all seriousness, Stefanski had to do this. Shador, not only won, but he made so many big, flashy and splash plays that Stefanski, you ain't have no choice.
Had no choice.
Yeah, you but honestly, shout out to you, Shador, because you took the decision out of Kevin Stefanski's hands. And if nobody else is gonna say it, I'ma say it. Shador, you made it to where they had no choice but to start you. Shador, you made so many big plays, 52 yards Isaiah Bond, 39 yards Jerry Jeudy, where Kevin Stefanski's hand was forced. Even if he did not want to play you, he had to play you. I said earlier, your destiny can't be denied. And it looked like Shador Sanders starting in Cleveland eventually was your destiny, predestined to start out there in Cleveland. So it can't be denied, bro. What's for you is for you, and it looks like at least now it's for Shador Sanders.
You ain't lying about that. Another thing.
Hey, yo, I didn't want to, you know, we got to get on to the politics. I just wanted to give a shout out to my guy, Shador Sanders, man. Shout out to him, man. Definitely a big moment. Showed up. And that's what it's about, bro. When you get these moments, you show up. And they got, like I said, bro, they got a decent team. They got some solid players. You know, I like Njoku, fucking, you know, he got a weird name. They tight end. They got 2 tight ends. That's nice. The rookie, he's nice. They got some decent running backs. Jerry Jeudy, he in some shit right now. But I don't know how that's going to go with this whole fumble situation. But, you know. They get a good wide receiver over there, bro. Their defense is solid already, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Their defense is solid as hell. So they got a decent team. They get with a strong quarterback. That's pretty much the piece that they was missing. So if Shador can do what everybody thinks Shador can do, they're going to be good, bro. He's going to be good. But I'm an Eagles fan through and through. But got to say shout out to my guy, man. Just off the fact that they was hating on my boy. But anyway, before we start officially, I wanted to make a comment. Before I do, I wanted to play this short right here with Jasmine Crockett, and I'm assuming that this is a trans person. But I wanted to play this for a specific reason.
Why are Republicans using marginalized communities, especially transgender and immigrant communities, as scapegoats right now?
Listen, I think that this is all about dividing us, right? So if you can pick different groups off, and if you can make one group feel like they're superior to another, then you win. But our strength is in our unity. And that is why, you know, I know that there are some Democrats that get a little wishy-washy when it comes to the trans community.
Don't we know it?
I know that there was a time in which they looked at African Americans and they said about African Americans that there was something wrong with us, there was something different about us, as if we didn't bleed the same.
Many are still saying that, unfortunately.
Correct.
Too.
Correct. So how is it that I, as a Black woman in America, could ever imagine myself being on the other side of any group of people that is being marginalized or being looked at or being alienated or being dehumanized? Yeah. I cannot. I am the legacy of enslaved people. So I will never stand that way. It's not about whether or not somebody agrees with me. It's about whether or not it is the right thing to do.
I want to highlight stories like Monica Renteria Gonzalez, who is a trans man who reported being forced into hazardous labor. He was denied medical care, and he was harassed by the people detaining him simply for being trans.
Yeah.
What steps are you taking, and what steps need to be taken?
Yeah, so one great big step was obviously showing up here today.
Yeah.
Because you've got to shine a light on all the darkness. If you allow these things to sit in the darkness, then no one will ever understand how bad it is. We need to have a consolidated space in which we have these stories and we have these reports. Once we can do that, we can take more steps once we're in the majority. But more importantly, I fear that Donald Trump will try to do blanketed pardons on a lot of these wrongdoers. And so it is important that people understand that they need to show up, they need to vote in every election. You got to make sure that even if it's a safe Democratic seat, that it's the Democrat that is going to go after these people. We need people that say, We will never, ever want anybody to do this again in American history.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, especially I think of, immigrants, transgender youth who are scared,
Yeah.
who feel hopeless.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to them?
Don't let the loudest haters end up being the only ones that infiltrate your space. Just know that you are loved, you are seen, and you will be protected. And also know that there is power in your voice because we live in a democracy. So make sure you never shrink. Make sure you continue to raise your voice. Make sure you continue to stand for yourself. Just know that I've got your back, and there are so many others that do.
That gave me chills.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Psychos, man. Psychos. So I played that video because I want black people specifically. Black people, right? Even though there's things that I disagree about with the civil rights movement and a lot of the black movements, period. Because the thing that I hate the most is they act like we just came strictly from slavery and we was just the most, uneducated, ignorant people on the planet. When that's not the case, bro. It's not the case. Post-slavery, even during Jim Crow segregation and things like that, you had millionaires. You had millionaires. Women. Madam C.J. Walker, first millionaire woman. Black woman, first woman. Take out the black shit. Don't even matter. She was the first millionaire woman. And then you got Anne Malone, O.W. Gurley, and more black people who were, and Anne Malone, obviously a female, O.W. Gurley is a man. These were millionaires. These are people during post-slavery in the early 1930s who were millionaires, bro, who made a way during the toughest times for black folks, who didn't make excuses, who stood on their own, stood on family, stood on values, and built a community. Tulsa, Black Wall Street, they had everything. Lawyers, doctors, hospitals, grocery stores, banks, they had everything. So when now mind you, of course, white folks undermined all of them things and they try to erase it out of history. You hardly hear about these millionaire black folks who were millionaires during a time where it wasn't, quote unquote, right for black folks to be millionaires at the time. And it's crazy to me how people like Jasmine Crockett and the whole Democratic Party, bro, use racial politics on a regular basis. And now they're trying to swap out you for illegal immigrants and trans people. That whole conversation was focused on trans people. Like, bro, nobody cares about trans people. They just don't. Just stay out of women's bathrooms. Stop being weirdos. Stop going to elementary schools trying to read to children. And you'll be all right. Simple. And then they're trying to replace black folks with illegal immigrants. Like, just think about that, right? That our ancestors, right? 400 years of slavery, another what? 100, a century and a quarter, more of, definitely hella racism, Jim Crow, segregation, all of that, right? All of that. Passed the Civil Rights Act, all of these things that supposedly, allegedly helps black folks and all of that. Now you can vote. Mind you, these people became millionaires before black people could vote. So this whole victim mindset, bro, is a mindset that they want you to have, bro. They want you to have it. They want you to feel like a victim so they could come right on in and save you. When you don't need these people. You don't need these people to save you, bro. Only person that's going to save you no matter what is you. Period. I just think it's a disgrace to see black people support these people who literally literally fought to keep you in chains. They literally fought to keep you in chains. They fought for segregation. They fought to keep Jim Crow laws. These people didn't even want to pass the Civil Rights Act. Even the small crumbs that black folks got, they didn't even want to give you. And now they smile in your face, just like Malcolm X said they would. These are the worst kinds of people. They smile in your face, tell you they love you, tell you they care about you just to get your vote. But when you think about it, since Black Wall Street and, you know, I believe one of the best eras for black folks as far as community, family, and just them not having a victim mindset is just, we got to build and we got to create. And that's what they were doing. We're not talking about because that's what they try to do. When you talk about the era of community, people knowing each other, all of these different, great things for black folks at the time, they wanted to, oh, well, that was during Jim Crow. So you're trying to say Jim Crow was a good thing for black people. It's like, no, we're just talking about in the home, family, structure, the things that black folks cared about that we got so far away from today. And I'm kind of going on and rant about it, but it just pisses me off that they literally replaced civil rights, right? When you look up the start of civil rights, what it was about, it was for black people, strictly for black people, like strictly for black folks. And now they're using civil rights to, for men to play in women's sports, for men to go in female spaces, and all of this weird stuff. And illegal immigration, illegal immigrants, and trying to replace you with them. So, you gotta wake up, man. These people are wicked, bro. But let's move on to Liberal Hot Mind, talking about this whole EBT situation.
Right, folks, so new SNAP regulations are now coming in. And of course, where would we now look for the fallout? Of course, immediately turn your eyes to California as they report the devastating news to the local audience.
Changes are coming after President Trump signed a new tax and spending bill into law back in July, known as the One Big Beautiful Bill. And two of those changes coming to SNAP or CalFresh, known here in California, include new work and age requirements in order to be eligible for the program. Eligibility for non-U.S. citizens will also be impacted. The CalFresh program spokesperson tells me that right now they're still waiting for guidance from the state and a timeline. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, people that will not be eligible for SNAP benefits include refugees and people that were granted asylum. SNAP participants will also be required to work, volunteer, or participate in job training for at least 80 hours a month. And the new restrictions will also increase the age limit for people who meet work requirements from 18 to 64. Before, that age cap was at 54. The USDA also says that temporary exceptions will also end for people experiencing homelessness, veterans, and young adults 24 and younger and aging out of the foster care system.
One of those changes already took effect on November the 1st, and this changes how we count the deductions that individuals are eligible to claim, which will impact the benefit amount that they receive.
And here's a breakdown of how many people in California could be impacted under the new law. And according to data here from the California Department of Social Services, up to 395,000 people could lose benefits under federal funding cuts for SNAP.
Again, with that arrogant left-wing tone of how dare you question.
And another before I let him go, but the thing that they don't tell you is who is these people that's getting cut. Because that's the thing that they don't zone in on. They don't zone in on the details with anything. So you just think like all of these people are just not going to be able to get SNAP. So women and people who actually will get it start panicking, posting bullshit on Facebook and Instagram, and they don't even know what they're talking about. But the whole thing of it is this, bro. I said this, things got to be cut. It's just what it is, bro. And these illegal immigrants got to get out of the country, period. And this is a simple way to get these people out and to hold Americans accountable. If you, 24 and under? Like, bro, you young. Go to work. That's what they told me. Word is born. I remember I was a young boy, fucked up, trying to get some help. They said, nah, You able-bodied, my man. So, you know, and now looking back on it, they was right. So motherfuckers got to go to work. And if your kids reach a certain age and they start going to school, you're going to have to go work 80 hours a month. Part-time. I just don't think that these requirements are crazy. Because it's not like they're saying, okay, if you work 80 hours a month, you no longer, you know, are eligible to get SNAP benefits. They're saying you can still get your SNAP benefits and you're going to be able to get a little check on the side working part-time. This is how lazy, this is how spoiled Americans are. This is how spoiled we are, bro.
Our benefit programs. Dare you question the legitimacy of our taxpayer philanthropy? Yeah, well, we aren't that stupid anymore. Decades of frickin' abuse has genuinely changed the outlook here. But you know, the news segment from California presents this as so alarming and horrifying, but I have the exact opposite reaction. Less of horror and more of overdue relief. This Western era of no standards welfare, frankly of entitlement, well, it's long overdue. And the message here is quite simple. It's not that the actual deserving people will lose their social safety net. It's that those abusing the system and abusing the purposeful blindness of the Democrat Party, their free ride is over. The message is get a damn job. We're talking work requirements. And personally, what I think is the most overdue, a cutoff to the fake refugee and asylum scams that we saw during Joe Biden's era. Well, now there's an 80 hours a work month requirement baked into the deal. I think they could easily go over 100, but I think most people would take something over nothing. But this is a very important part because, of course, this was part of the entire Democrat strategy to replace the American populace with a new, more obedient masses. The Trump administration is coming in and shutting off the illegal migration magnet. That's essentially the best metaphor to explain this. You know, Joe Biden's open border policies, the mass migration racket that we see in Europe, the entire manufactured crisis is built upon this welfare magnet. It's built upon the basic promise, come here, claim asylum, we'll bounce that process forever and even let you stay in the country. Once you've been issued an order of deportation, we'll create a sanctuary city to endlessly protect you from federal deportation. Just claim asylum, and that's the cheat code, basically. Then you get food, you get housing, you get healthcare, you get legal aid, have a bunch of anchor babies, never really even need to work a day in your life. And so obviously, who wouldn't want to take that deal in some of these impoverished countries? It's a freaking sales pitch for an endless American vacation. It's better than the stuff that Oprah Winfrey was giving on her show. No, it's a lottery system for the world. Except it seems that pretty much everyone qualifies and then everybody wins. You've been granted illegitimate asylum and endless welfare benefits, and you've been granted illegitimate asylum and endless government benefits. I mean, just speaking of the lottery, think about the cost. To house and feed somebody, then to feed their anchor baby children for generations. Over their lifetime, we're talking about $1 million prize for the act of violating America's sovereignty. It's an insane proposition. But that, of course, has been the Democrat proposition now for years. That's the magnet. That's the core of the strategy, to open up welfare to the world's fake asylum seekers, bring them all in, give them quasi-legal status, protected by sanctuary.
Yo, they literally was just hopping over this joint. They was just walking right in the country, bro. Like, it's actually wild to think about how many people is still probably getting benefits, bro. And just soaking up hella American resources, bro. Meanwhile, we got our own issues and problems, but that's why I say when they say, like, do you truly believe them when they say, you know, we care about America? Like, I don't believe them at all, because nothing that they do is American first. Nothing, none of it.
City policies, give them temporary protected status, give them DACA, whatever the hell you want to give them, embed them in society, anchor babies in the masses, and then boom, loyal Democrat voters, lifelong Democrat voters. And well, now the incentive structure is being dismantled piece by piece. You got refugee caps coming in, deportations, most importantly, clear messaging that fake asylum claimers will not be tolerated, and if you try to stay in the country after your deportation order, ICE will find you. And now with the removal of these welfare, let's call it dangling carrots, the entire premise behind Joe Biden's border disaster, well, the entire scheme will come to an end. All of a sudden, I think for a lot of these economic migrants, reality in their country probably seems a whole lot better of a proposition than going to America, than to receive nothing and then to be, of course, hunted down by ICE. And that's
gonna end it with that. Shout out to Liberal High Mind, but he right though. Definitely right. Like, this is definitely gonna get a lot of them to voluntarily leave because they ain't gonna have no reason to stay. If you was offered free housing, food, healthcare, you would come to America too. So it's actually a shame, to be honest, because there's people that really, it's probably I would probably say a little more than half of the people that come here with good intentions and really want to just live a better life. And it sucks. But reality is, dog, you broke the law. You know what I mean? And the ones, I believe them ones are the ones who voluntarily left because they really want to come back in the country and they're willing to do it the right way. So shout out to them, But yo, just think, it's really a national security risk when letting anybody into the country, right? They were letting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, well, I'll say tens of thousands a day coming into the country. Like, don't know who these people are. They probably even knew who some of these people are because they did have the numbers on people who they knew who had committed murders and things like that. So, yo, when you hear some of this shit, it's no way that you can think that these people actually care about America, bro. At all. So when Trump be like seditious and he talk about, the congressmen and women who made that video alluding that he, is giving illegal orders and to not follow illegal orders, like bro, it's treason, it's traitorous, bro. You're a traitor to your country. These people are not for America. They're for the green, the dollar. That's it. And like I said, and I'm going to keep on saying that they only are mad because Donald Trump is cutting off the pipelines. All of them. He's cutting all of them. Excuse me. He's cutting all of them off. And that's what really got them angry. That's what really got them mad. But they're good. They done stacked up for 4 years at the minimum. People like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, they've been racking up for years. Let's get into this next joint with Mornings with Marie.
But first, the hot topic of the hour, the federal cases against former FBI Director Jim Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James have been dismissed by a federal judge yesterday. District Judge Cameron Curry deeming U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan was improperly appointed, rendering the indictments as defective. The fired FBI director spoke out after the decision.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude's going to be the same. I'm innocent, I am not afraid, and I believe in an independent federal judiciary. It's time to stand up and show the fools who would frighten us, who would divide us, that we're made of stronger stuff, that we believe in the rule of law.
Letitia James saying this in a statement: I am heartened by today's victory and grateful for the prayers and support I have received from around the country. I remain fearless in the face of these baseless charges as I continue fighting for New Yorkers every single day. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi.
What's up with this word baseless? Like, that's like her favorite word. I guess everybody got one. I be saying wild or crazy too much.
They also speaking out saying that the DOJ will take all available legal action after the decisions, including an immediate.
Pam Bondi is a joke, bro. We'll see, Pam. Pam Bondi be blowing my shit because she just be talking, bro. Don't be doing nothing.
Appeal. The White House says, quote, the facts of the indictment against Comey and James have not changed, and this will not be the final word on this matter. Here's the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, yesterday.
We believe the attorney in this case, Lindsay Halligan, is not only extremely qualified for this position, but she was, in fact, legally appointed. And I know the Department of Justice will be appealing this in very short order. So maybe James Comey should pump the brakes on his victory lap.
I spoke with Article 3 Project President Mike Davis on Sunday Morning Futures ahead of this decision on the evidence in the case against Comey. Watch this.
Lindsay Halligan has shown time and time again that she has overwhelming evidence that James Comey lied to Congress about his involvement in Crossfire Hurricane, the biggest scandal in American history. We've seen the evidence. She's produced it in response to James Comey's various motions to try to derail this prosecution. The evidence is overwhelming, but we do have Democrat judges in this courthouse in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., who seem to be going out of their way to protect James Comey and to try to kick this case.
Joining me now is former federal prosecutor Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Now, these cases were dismissed without prejudice, meaning that they can be filed again. We expect them to be filed again. What's your reaction?
I think the comment about James Comey should pump the brakes is exactly right. It's really too early for them to spike the football on the dismissal, both James and Comey. And it's important to know that Judge didn't dismiss the cases because they found that they were politically motivated or lacked merit. It was just simply a technicality as to the appointment of Lindsay Halligan, whether this 6-month period of time for an interim appointment had lapsed. So it had nothing to do with the merits. But what's interesting is the Trump administration has two avenues to pursue here. They can just simply re-indict the cases, or they can appeal this issue. And the interesting thing about that is, even if the Trump administration loses on appeal, they can still re-indict the cases. So when James Comey says the cases are over, that's not correct at all. And I think maybe he's referring to the statute of limitations ending. But again, there's another federal statute, 18 U.S.C., I think it's 3288, that says if an indictment's dismissed, there's a 6-month extension on the statute of limitations to indict a case. So this case can be indicted either way, but I think they will appeal it, and I think they will be successful on the appeal.
Well, I also think that there could be different charges, right, Jonathan? I mean, if you're talking about a new charge of conspiracy, which is something that we've spoken about because it's been really 10 years of attacks against President Trump, does that carry a different statute of limitations than the other charges?
Well, that's an interesting point. And yeah, a conspiracy statute of limitations would end essentially 5 years after the last act of one of the conspirators in furtherance of the conspiracy. So it certainly could be a lot more recent. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And the other thing to keep in mind, typically in a case, the prosecutor, time is not the prosecutor's friend, meaning the defense usually wants to delay things because it benefits them. But in this case, it might actually be different because the prosecutors are new on this case, so it will give them more of an opportunity to investigate not only the current charges, but like you said, other potential charges. So it's really a very interesting thing. And the most important thing is really there's this constitutional aspect of this as to how appointments are made, whether or not district judges have more authority to appoint prosecutors and U.S. attorneys and the President of the United States. And I think that part of the statute is going to get a hard look from the Supreme Court because it really essentially says a Democratic senator can refuse to blue slip appointees, and then it reverts to district judges appointing members of the executive branch, which really doesn't make any sense at all. So there's so many interesting things, but the bottom line is the case goes on against both James and Comey and has nothing to do with whether or not Comey lied to Congress or whether James committed mortgage fraud. Nobody's weighed in on either of those issues yet.
So how long do you expect before the appeal happens? And, you know, it's interesting to hear Jim Comey say, look, I'm innocent. I mean, what is he saying he's innocent for? He's innocent. In other words, he didn't lie to Congress under oath. I mean, she's got detailed information about that one. Or he didn't pursue a story against President Trump, Russia collusion that he knew was false. I mean, what is he saying he's innocent to?
Anything?
That's an interesting point, because if he's innocent of the core allegations, whether or not he told the truth or not to Congress, it's interesting that they are pursuing all these technical defenses. Not that they shouldn't and don't have a right to, but that's not what happened here. And this impression that's being out there that somehow a judge ruled on the merits is not true. But yeah, how long will this take? It's really up to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals how quickly to take this up. It could be very quickly. It could be months, probably 6 months or so that this could be dormant.
And that's all they want to do. They want to lag it on, hoping that, they can find some type of fucking some type of roadblock that they can put in place to beat this. They just want time. That's it. But they know that's why he said it. That's why James Comey said that, Trump he's still gonna come. And he should, bro. These people did a lot of shit to Trump. And they can call it revenge, they can call it what they want. But it's not as if he's going after them with how Letitia James would call it, baseless charges. He's, number one, the Letitia James situation really had nothing really to do with Trump. Trump didn't go after her at all. You know what I mean? You can say, he, said things about, after the fact when these charges came up on both of them. He has definitely made tweets and stuff like that, like about them being arrested or whatever the case may be. But as far as like actually going after him, especially Letitia James, I can't say too much about James Comey, but definitely Letitia James. It was a independent, it was a business, people that look into politicians and, corruption. And they found, they stumbled across her. I seen a whole interview a while back, couple months back, where he was breaking it down on how she came across his desk and, started looking into Letitia James. And then they ultimately, investigated and seen that she was doing some mortgage fraud shit. The very thing that she accused Donald Trump of. But the crazy part about Donald Trump's situation that she went after him about was he didn't even, the bank that he was doing business with was good business. They didn't even have an issue with Donald Trump. You know what I mean? But she still made a case against him. And, bro, they'll do anything, bro. That's what I said, bro. These people are wicked and delusional as shit. But I just want to see, at the end of the day, bro, if these people are guilty, they need to be held accountable, period, bro. Because that's the only way you're going to shake things up in the Democratic Party for them to, really cool it back with the lion. The lion is out of control, bro. The lion, these people lie so much, it's crazy. It's wild to me how much these people lie on a regular basis. And then you got the other component, which is the legacy media, who lie for them. Now they're starting to push back on a lot of things. You've been seeing that lately these last couple of weeks. They've been kind of pushing back a lot on these issues because they're seeing like, hold on, because now you got these, at the end of the day, people still have their own individual careers on these news stations. And then you got the news station itself. They're getting sued. Trump is suing them. Other people are suing them, The View and all of these different people that are putting out, misinformation. That's what they try to say Trump does all the time. But that's what they do. That's what they do on a regular basis. And matter of fact, let me play this other joint. I'm going to just play this. I want to play this actually. Let's play this because she got some interesting clips in here that we're going to go over. Let's go over this first. And then we're going to end it with Brian Maxwell, per usual. Let's get into this, though.
For lefties losing it.
Lefties losing
they're
it.
Singing again or miming in this
One of my
case. Can
shows.
someone let lefty politicians know you don't have to jump on every social media trend favoured by teenage girls? You really don't, Jasmine. Now to the leftist heartland.
She is so corny, bro. And Nicki Minaj is fucking with Trump. So how the irony.
Land of Portland, where a bunch of activists got together, donned neon leotards, and held an aerobics class outside of an ICE detention facility as a show of resistance.
What is that grown ass man? What's going on? Bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. Bro, this is the Democratic Party of today, bro. Look at this shit. You can't make this shit up.
Of course, there was a furry there. I wish I never knew what a furry was. Now, let's hear from world-class hypocrite Sunny Hostin, one of the co-hosts of The View. And wowee, what a difference.
Now, look, this is a good example right here, right? She's going to play these two specific clips where, you know, where this is how much they lie and how much of a hypocrite these people really are. They don't care. They just get talking points and they say what they're told to say. That's it.
Year makes. When Biden was in power last year, she didn't want to know about the Epstein list. Indeed, she warned anybody who would listen that just being named doesn't mean you're guilty of anything. But now that Trump is in power, well, she's changed her tune. She wants to let it rip.
People were dying for this information. There was some sort of list that everybody thought was going to come out, and who's on the list. What's important for us to note is we shouldn't be repeating names that are on the list, because just because your name has, not on the list, but in the documents, just because your name is on the documents doesn't mean that you have done anything criminally irresponsible or illegal or civilly irresponsible. Or that you were a client. Or that you were a client.
Now, bro, do you hear this? This was in 2024. They wasn't concerned about Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I say, bro, these people are fake.
These documents, as I read them, only reflect Epstein's sexual assaults of women and his sexual behavior. So I think that... N.G.L.A. also? N.G.L.A. And so being named in this suit does not equate to being accused of wrongdoing. And I think that is extremely important, because conspiracy theorists seem to not understand or enjoy facts. Yes. These are the facts. Yeah. There is a list.
You could tell that wasn't a fact just by how she said it. Like, body language is amazing, bro, because it says so much. It's amazing. Just look at her face when she said that. Does that look like a convincing person? Does it look like everything that she said was factual? Did she say that with conviction? No. First of all, she was reading from a paper, because this is just a talking point. She was told to say it because they're worried that the Epstein files were going to come out, and they really don't want them to come out. And I told you this already. This is a joke. They don't care. They know that they got judges who are going to block these things. They know that the most sensitive information that's in these documents probably won't see the day of light at all. The light of day, I mean. They ain't. Because it's just politics, bro. It is what it is. But just look how fake this bitch is. I hate Sunny Hostin. Like, my bad. Let me rephrase that. I dislike Sunny Hostin. So
Trump's name is on the logs, the passenger logs of Epstein's aircraft at least 7 times. That's already been made public. I mean, of course, Trump is denying any and all allegations, but all of that information is out there. Why not just put it to rest and say, release the list?
Because she didn't.
Now it's a list. She went from saying that there wasn't no list, from how she reads it, it's just Jeffrey Epstein and the bullshit he was doing. She didn't even mention Trump in 2024. Now in 2025, now it's, why don't you just release the list? Trump was on the logs. Why she didn't bring up Bill Clinton being on there? And mind you, they already showed the logs. The logs weren't to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Bill Clinton logs were to Jeffrey Epstein's island. The ones that have Trump and Epstein on the same flights are going to Florida. So that's what I'm saying, bro. It's misleading. That's misinformation. You know what I mean? So yes, is there flight logs with Jeffrey Epstein and Trump? Yes. But are they going to the island that Jeffrey Epstein? No. They already did the time frames of when Donald Trump was on flights with Jeffrey Epstein. It was before he even built the Epstein Island and all of that stuff. But the thing for me is, if you're going to be a journalist, if you're going to claim to be the you know, the truth teller, whatever, like, don't just be a Democrat pusher, especially when you're on these major networks, which suck. The view is ass, it's trash. But I mean, people still watch it. I'm pretty sure they got a decent little audience. And they just manipulate people because all they talk about is Trump, 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 Trump. I just be telling, yo, when I see people now, I just be like, bro, just get off Trump nuts, bro. Like, god damn. Like, they just be on Trump nuts for no reason, bro. I don't get it. And it's crazy because every single thing that they have hit him with is backfired. Every single thing. So at some point, a logical person has to say to themselves, yo, maybe, because that's what I did. I used to be just like you. Oh, Trump a racist, just because I was just watching the news, and that's what he was telling us. And I aligned with Democrat because I was black. But when I really looked into these things, like, yo, why the fuck did it? Because me, I'm just a logical person at the end of the day. During them times, I didn't really care about politics. But when I started wanting to get into podcasting and stuff, and I kind of started getting into the politics, especially because things were just so messed up. I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I started following a little bit. And I like history. This is kind of history in the making. So it's part of history. So I'm like into it. You know what I mean? So just looking into this whole thing, I'm like, yo, damn, they actually be lying on this dude a lot. And then when you start going further and further and further, and you realize pretty much every single thing, every hoax, you know, the Fine People hoax, the Russia hoax, all of these things are just lies. Just one big lie that they spin on news cycles every single day, week in, week out. Like, that's it. They didn't want Trump to be the president because they knew they couldn't control Trump. That's what it all boils down to. Most of these presidents, they could be controlled. They could be bought and paid for. You can't buy a billionaire. You can't buy a billionaire. Well, at least Trump, you can't. So that's what they're really mad about. They're mad that they couldn't buy Trump. They realized that Trump isn't going to do what they want him to do. He's not going to continue to just funnel all of these bullshit programs and these bullshit departments in the government that ain't doing nothing for Americans, but just taking up all of our money, all of our resources. And that's why they're mad, bro. Let's watch a little bit more of this.
Didn't even want anyone on the list named last year. Now she's red hot to go. Now, when she's not being a world-class hypocrite, Sunny Hostin is indulging in her favourite pastime of race baiting. Her race obsessions have, well, been well documented. She bleats on endlessly about white supremacy and racism. But weirdly, she opts to live in an all-white neighbourhood. And here, Sunny again claims that America is built on racism and slavery.
This is a country based on racism and slavery and founded in it. There is systemic racism and misogyny, and there are people that I've never met anyone that raises their hand and says, I am racist. However, there are people that seem to be able to look the other way when it comes to racism.
Oh, she's so tiresome and ill-informed, but it wouldn't be a Sunny Hostin rant if it didn't have a segue into some Trump derangement syndrome.
So you have a president who traffics in misogyny, who traffics in xenophobia, who traffics in sexism.
And won.
And he won. And won against a black woman. So don't tell me that this country... we gotta go.
They make everything about race, bro. Yo, a dog and a cat and a lizard would have been able to see that Kamala Harris was not fit to be the president of the United States of America, bro. Like, animals would have led the country like Noah's Ark. You heard? If she would have became president, they'd have been like, oh shit, the nuke is coming. You know how animals, they know, they be sensing shit. They start moving locations, start traveling. They'd have been out. Soon as the victory speech was coming, they was gone. That's all they do. That's all they got, bro. I don't know. It's kind of at this point, bro. It's kind of ass, kind of trash. You know, just hearing the same old thing. Oh, I'm black. Oh, the first black. Oh, the first black. Bro, black people been here forever. It's no such thing as the first black anything, bro. God damn it, man. Why couldn't Kamala Harris be the first woman president? Like, if I was Kamala, I would have ran on that. You would have sounded more humble, more just educated, bro. Just how many, like, come on, bro. Keep running on this black shit. And it just makes you inferior to white people. That complex makes you inferior. The fact that you always got to let it be known that you were the first. Man, and all of these people before you were just white or whatever. You're the first black person to come along and get this position. I'd rather just be like, nah, I don't want to be the first black nothing. Sonny Holston is just like Charlemagne, just like Roland Martin, Al Sharpton, you know, just in a dress sometimes. They don't care about black people. She lives in a white neighborhood. Most of these people, like Kamala Harris, talk about race. You got a white husband. You got a white husband. Fucking, I was just looking at somebody earlier. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know she had, which it ain't nothing wrong with it. Like, it's not wrong with you having, like, that's the thing. They make things, it's funny, the people who talk about racism, who was that? Who was that? That talk about racism a lot and talk about how white supremacy, and they be having interracial marriages and shit. Hold on. Who was that? Oh, Ilhan Omar. I mean, I don't know if he looked like a white boy. He could be something else, but he looked like a white boy. Which it ain't nothing wrong with it. You got a white boy, you got a white boy. It's nothing wrong with it, bro. My thing is, when you got a lot of people that be pushing these racial issues and they be having white dudes and white women, it's not wrong with it, bro. I like, you don't feel awkward. Just keep talking about racism, and then you got to go to work. And then you got to go to work. I'm like, oh, here come this racist ass bitch again.
Ready for a black woman. Don't tell me this country is ready
also,
for
let's
a
face
woman.
It, Hillary Clinton was one of the most qualified people.
Now,
No,
here
she
is
wasn't.
Michigan State Superintendent Sue Carnell, who can't seem to answer a simple question, a question so easy that a child could answer it with ease.
How many genders are there?
This is what we come to in America.
How many genders
Look,
are there?
Democrat, I have to say it. I have to figure out something right now. Like, easiest question she probably got in her whole entire life. The easiest one ever. Look at her face. You got me. You got me stumped.
Different people have different beliefs on that.
Well, you can believe all you want, but science says there's two.
Now, I want to play you a little of Bill
That's what we
Maher's
come to in
chat with
America,
actor
people.
and comic Patton Oswalt, who...
Anyway, man, let's move on from this. I just wanted to show a little bit of the looniness. Shout out to Rita. Sky News. Let's get into this Brian Maxwell. He going into this whole fraud situation in Minnesota with Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz and the Somalian gangsters out there in Minnesota, stealing all our taxpayer dollars. God damn, bro. Sometimes, man, I be like, when I see the amounts of money that these people be stealing, I be like, damn, I'm in the wrong profession. God damn.
That's when you think the Democrats can't get any lower, any dirtier, any more treasonous. Another news story breaks showing us that there is no loyalty to America or to the American people coming from the left. And one of the loudest mouthed members of the Democrats in Congress, Ilhan Omar, has been exposed and the veil has been ripped off. It's been ripped off so severe that every single intelligence network in our country is focused in on Minnesota, on the Somali community, and on Ilhan Omar. And the reason why this story is so important for Americans around the country is because that's a small pocket of Somalis. They have close to 1 million located around the country. And it's not just about Somali. This is what happens when you allow foreigners to enter the country without any allegiance to America. When you make it just easy for them to come, they don't have to pass any tests. They don't have to do any studying. They don't have to pledge any allegiance to the country through this asylum system and all of this free illegal immigrant. And then they are actually encouraged to practice their cultural views or bring their culture with them to America, when that's not the way that it's ever been. It's always been, if you're from a foreign nation and you come here and you become a citizen, that's cool that within your home, if you want to maintain some type of ties to your culture within your family or whatnot, fine. But when you come into America and you're waving your country's flags, when you're calling yourself a true citizen of your country before a citizen of America, that's a problem. And in this video, you're going to see the scab is pulled off. And now, what are the Democrats going to do? Because this is spreading around the country and more people that have heard of this, the fact that we got members of Congress that have been knowingly, allegedly funding terrorist groups. That's gone too far. And we're talking about to the tune of almost $1 billion. Let me get into this because you're going to love this video because we all despise Ilhan Omar and her big mouth.
With a B, billion, bro. You know, like all I be like thinking about when you hear these new, you know, allegations, investigations that's going on, I just think in my mind, it's just one situation. This is just one fraudulent situation. And then there's just another one and another one and another one. And then like you just realize like, yo, billions and billions of dollars are just being robbed from us every single day. And you wonder why your community ain't changing at all. You can't make this shit up.
But now she's put her foot in her mouth and there's no place else to run. And the Somali community is starting to flip on her and eventually will completely flip on her. And in this video, I'll explain why. So as you see right here, House Majority Whip demands investigation into Somalis terrorist funding Minnesota welfare fraud. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of what's been going on over there in Somalia, but the fraud, here in Minnesota, the fraud is outrageous. We talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. And these folks are like the kings and queens of scamming. I'll get into it. Look at what the president said. Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as president of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protective status, TPS program for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President Donald J. Trump. And notice he made it specifically for Somalis in Minnesota, because you got a lot of really good people that are here from Somalia that's not doing anything wrong. And the reason why they're on a temporary protective status, I'm going to show you in this video, because it's going to blow your mind to hear this woman step up and be as disrespectful as she is to this country when what it is that she fled was so much worse. Now, you heard the president talk about Tampon Tim Walz. Check this news report out about him and what's going on within his administration and how that's affecting Minnesota and the country. And also keep in mind, this man almost became the VP. Check this out.
At least 16 reports critical of specific state agencies for allowing alleged fraud, waste, or mismanagement during Walz's 6 years as governor have been published by Minnesota's independent auditor.
He is the executive body in charge, right? And can you blame him individually for each individual thing? No, but he took absolutely no action to change the outcome. There was nobody that was terminated because of the failures of those agencies.
Lisa Damath is a Republican minority leader in the Minnesota state legislature.
We have an issue of fraud here in the state of Minnesota, that we have $500 million in known fraud under Governor Walz's time in office.
And you're talking about feeding our future.
That's one of them, yeah.
Feeding Our Future, a program overseen by Minnesota's Department of Education, was the single largest COVID-19 fraud scheme in the nation, according to the Department of Justice. Nearly $250 million in federal tax dollars was supposed to go to feeding children in need. Instead, dozens of people involved in the scheme stole the money, buying houses, luxury cars, and a suburban bar and restaurant, according to a federal indictment. At the time, Governor Walz defended his administration.
We caught this fraud. We caught it very early. We alerted the right people.
This past June, the state legislative auditor's investigation found that the Minnesota Department of Education's actions and inactions created opportunities for fraud, failed to act on warning signs, and did not effectively exercise its authority to hold Feeding Our Future accountable.
Is that fraud the governor's fault? When he is not holding any commissioners responsible, then yes, Governor Walz is responsible for the fraud that has been ongoing in the state of Minnesota. By not making any changes within his administration, then yes, it falls squarely on his shoulders.
So, as you heard this, so Tim Walz said, oh, yeah, we caught it early. No, you didn't. You were exposed early. Now, let's get to the root of how all of this even started in Minnesota. Check out this story on Ilhan Omar and how this is the beginning of all of the BS that you see going on in Minnesota, all of the uproar in Congress. This came with her, what they call the squad. These are all women and men of foreign descent that have been elected to positions of power to Congress within their communities that are overloaded with people from other countries that typically, most cases, from their same country, their native country, and they support these people. That's how they get into office, with these radical ideas, and they're trying to destroy America. But check out this report on Ilhan Omar that she at one time denied. Check this out.
Was first made a few years ago, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar tried to knock it down by calling it absurd. Then when the media turned up a wedding certificate, Omar went silent, refusing to make any comments at all, saying she does not talk about her family or personal life. Well, now others are talking, like Abdul.
Do you see? She married her brother.
Hakeem Osman, a prominent member of the Minneapolis Somali community, who is now on the record telling the Daily Mail that in 2009...
She went before God and married her brother.
And Ilhan Omar married her biological brother, Ahmed Saeed Almi, so that he could legally remain in the U.S. and attend college. At the time, Omar was married to Ahmed Hersey, but it was a religious marriage, meaning there was no Minnesota state record stating that she and Hersey were husband and wife. And so marrying her brother would allow her sibling to get his legal immigration documents. But Mr. Osman isn't just saying that Omar married her biological brother. He also gave the Daily Mail the name of the Christian minister who married them. That minister reportedly says she does not want to be involved or interviewed about Congresswoman Omar.
Oh, how shocking. A female.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, a donation. You hitting that like button is more than enough. It really helps. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues with notifications, but when you select all on the notifications, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. So she comes into the country and is stirring up fraud. This lady marries her biological brother so that he can get citizenship in this country. But that not only that, once President Trump made his statements, I want you to listen to what she feels Somalians are to this country. Check.
How isn't that like illegal? You could do that? Is that legal? That can't be legal, right?
Check this out.
Somali Muslim Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is now under fire after she claimed that Somalis are the foundation of America and the reason why it's thriving.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
Somali Muslim Ilhan Omar is now under fire after she claimed that Somalis are the foundation of America and the reason why it's thriving. She also claimed that Somalis aren't going anywhere. These statements from the Muslim Congresswoman has garnered controversy online. Commenters claimed that the founding fathers weren't Somali and that Ilhan Omar shouldn't be a congresswoman. But what do you think about Ilhan Omar's statements? Do you think Somalis are the foundation of America? Let me know your thoughts down below.
Yo, real quick, I just Googled it, a quick Google search, and it says, yes, it is illegal to marry a sibling in every U.S. state due to laws against incest. So I wonder if her brother got deported. Because if it's illegal, then his citizenship is null and void, my guy. Yo, she should be deported, bro.
And see, this lady is a radical. And when she steps up on stage, she talks like that. Hey, it doesn't make us any less American and blah, blah, blah. We're the fabric. Now, let's check real quick into what's going on out there in Minnesota. And then I'm going to let you hear this other video clip of Ilhan Omar that will blow your mind because it gets much worse. So Somali autism fraud in Minnesota may have gone over $1 billion and is linked to the Somali $250 million Feed Our Future food aid fraud. Autism claims to Medicaid in Minnesota shot up from $3 million in 2018 to $400 million in 2023 and 2024 for a total of $1.4 billion. And here's the chart. And look at what happened when COVID hit in Minnesota. They just went crazy. They lost it. Now, check out these numbers by Benny Johnson, a conservative media person. You may be familiar with Benny, like Benny. Minnesota Somali community has been caught funneling taxpayer dollars to terrorist group Al-Shabaab overseas by falsely diagnosing children with autism through Medicaid. Look at the insane spike in claims. $3 million to $400 million. You mean to tell me autism in Minnesota kicked off that much? Where you're looking at literally like 120 times over? No. Within the same time period, autism centers skyrocketed from 41 to 328, with many of them being in Somali communities. Your tax dollars are being stolen and shipped over to people who hate us and want us unalive. You should be furious. This is a direct result of careless immigration policies. Facts. Facts. Now, listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. And you tell me, do you feel she should be deported or she should be booted out of Congress after this statement? Check this out.
No, in jidadkeennii aan wada dhisano. Anigu waan ahay gabar Mareykanka laga doortay oo Kongresska Mareykanka ku jirto. Laakiin waxaan ahay gabar Soomaaliyeed, gabar idinku jinsi ah, gabar idinku af ah, gabar idinku diin ah, oo hadde qof iyadoo da'yar waddankeedii laga kaxeeyo wili xiise u qabto in maalin waddankeedii ay ku noolaato oo dadkeedii wax ay la wadaagto. Marka alhamdulillah.
She literally said the truth out loud, bro. She literally said that she wants to go back to her country. And I believe her. I believe that she's literally just defrauding the government, sending millions, massive amounts of money back to her country. And honestly, I think she should be arrested. Forget the deportation, because that's probably what she wants in the end, to be honest. That's probably what she wants. She probably wants to be deported off of this statement alone. Bro, these people are crazy.
Waxaan rajaynayaa aniga iyo ilmahayga in aan hadde ku barbaariyo iyagana ilmahooda ay ku barbaariyaan dhulkii aniga aan ku soo koray. Taasna haddii ay suurtagelayso waa hadde shaqo badan inaan wada qabanaa hadduu Ilaahay yiraahdo oo aan ka dhignaa dhulkeena dhul barwaaqadiisa dadka oo dhan ay dareemi karaan oo ay arki karaan oo ay ka wada faa'iideysan karaan. No.
And with all the fraud going on with the Democrat Party, with the Somalians trying to take care of illegal immigrants, seniors, I want to make sure that you get taken care of. And that's why I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter. Chapter has been helping seniors like politics. So she comes over here and she talks down on America, talks down on our government, talks down on our president, talks about how horrible and how racist the country is. Now let's check out where she's from. Terrorism in Somalia, Al-Shabaab, the group that has been receiving, they say Al-Shabaab's #1 financier is the Somali community out of Minnesota. We talking about worldwide, through all the countries that be supporting people like them. The Somali community in America is using U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund an Al-Qaeda terrorist group, Al-Shabaab. that like Benny Johnson said, that hate this country, that want to do everything they can to destroy this country. And this article is from 2021. So this isn't even a recent article. This is some years ago. So while she gets on that high horse and talks so negative about America, there's a reason why she's not in Somalia. Number one, she would probably get beheaded the moment she stepped off the plane. But America's so racist, America's so fascist that she can spew her foreign self, step up, disrespect our customs, disrespect our president, disrespect this land, and not have herself thrown in jail or in the gulag or beheaded. But it's so bad. But she can't go to Somalia and talk like that even a little bit. These people are faker than a $3 bill. So you got Al-Shabaab destroying the country, but yet, think about it now, her group and her associations allegedly are funneling money to this group that's destroying her native land. And so for people that come from that when they come here with those same customs, it is inevitable that they will eventually make this land like they've made theirs. That isn't some foreign power that's destroying Somalia. That's Somalians. And so what makes us think that they're going to come over here and just respect the flag and just do right? They're pissing on our customs and stealing our money to the tune of $1.4 billion. And that's just in the, in the autism and the Feed Our Future claim. That's not even, we ain't even getting to the real estate and the housing that they were defrauding the American government. And you think Tim Walz didn't know? He's held captive. He's a literal slave to the radical left wing in his state. I believe those Somalians probably cuss him out and go crazy. As a matter of fact, the Minnesota sheriff apologized to the Somalians with all of this fraud going on. Apologized to them on behalf of America if they felt uncomfortable while $1.4 billion US goes out the door. You know he's a leftist. Now check this part out. I'm going to read this small part, then I got these other video clips you have to see. So look at this. Terrorism in Somalia, by the numbers, Al-Shabaab was responsible for 88% of all unalivings in 2019, which resulted in 503 fatalities. And that marks a 14% decline. So if they did 88% of all of the unalivings in 2019, and that's a 14% decline, but she's in America telling us what we need to do, right? Al-Shabaab continued to conduct kabooms against civilians and businesses, as well as targeted assassinations of key government figures. Civilian unalivings accounted for 36% of the deaths attributed by the group, followed by businesses at 22% and government targets at 20%. So the so-called government, who they got beef with, actually had the least impact. You know who had the most? Just regular people. Just like right now in Minnesota, regular taxpaying people who opened up their heart and their minds to welcome in the Somali community is being pissed on. The United States of America, which opened up the borders to allow them in, is being pissed on. But look at what they do to their own people in their own land. Now, check out this report on Al-Shabaab and Somalia. And then we're going to follow it up with what Fox News has reported, which really breaks it down. But this is just to show you. The next time you see that woman or hear that woman talking, you know it's all BS. You probably knew that before, but now we got verifiable proof. Where she's from, where she said, I want to raise my children on my land. And then she said, we have a lot of work to do. Yeah, you do, because the land is destroyed. People are losing their lives. That's why you could pack up and go right now, especially since President Trump said they want you out. Why don't you go back, Ilhan? You hate this country so much and you can't stand it. Leave. Yeah. But she knows she can't. But check.
It's more of like a cultural thing. Like, I don't know what it is, because it looks like it's a shithole over there, to be honest. I don't know why you want to go back to that. But I guess if you're trying to rebuild it or reclaim it or whatever you want to call it. But, these people, it's a small group, because I want to talk about it sometime this week. I want to talk about the whole Islam thing, because I seen a guy, he's a Trump supporter. He got a show, got a decent little following too. Got a nice little following, and like, I don't like. Listen, I live in America. A lot of it's multicultural. You got Christian, Muslim, Jews, Buddhists, all types of different people in America, but Islam has got this bad rap because of all the propaganda against Islam in America, with the movies, with 9/11, which I believe had nothing to do with, but it was portrayed that way so they can infiltrate over there or whatever the case may be. My thing is this: this guy made claims on his live that there's no prophecies in the Quran, which is crazy, like a crazy statement, like which tells me that you're ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. So, a lot of these guys talk like I don't claim to be a scholar, none of that stuff, but I do be knowing a little bit about something, right? So I was like, yo, I sent him a message on the gram because I was texting him on the live, like, what's up? Let's go live. Like, you're wrong. You're wrong about that. Mind you, I supported Trump. I voted for Trump. So most of the things he's talking about, I support too. I talk about too. So I just wanted to prove him wrong about Islam. And it was going to be quick. It was going to be very, very quick. But see, because this is the thing I dislike. The same way, and I'm going to say this again, I said it before in previous videos. The same way people view Islam is the same way Muslims in the Middle East view America. Just a fact. I'm America first. I love America. It's where I'm from. It's where I'm going to be at for the rest of my life. But when we talk about Islam and Muslims, it's the same, but you have Muslims that aren't on the path. And I'm not claiming to be a perfect Muslim. I'm far from it. What I'm saying is you have extreme Muslims that is a small group of people compared to the whole. It's the same way you got evil Christians, evil Jews. We see them all the time. They ain't hiding, who do corrupt, evil things. And a lot of times in the name of Christianity, people don't like, it's everywhere, bro. But it's not everybody. You wouldn't say, I know a lot of good Christians. I know some good Jews. I know a lot of great Muslims that don't even think about half of the stuff that people claim Muslims think about. And even with even like just small information about, women are oppressed. It's a lie. It's just a lie. It's just not true. Women can't get an education. It's a lie. Like talking about Muslim women. It's a lie. Oh, Muslim women don't have rights. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's just a lie, bro. It's a big lie that a bunch of ignorant people who don't know this information, who never even visited these places, neither did I, but I at least know the information. But they talk about things that they just don't know. They don't even know the bare minimum about. You know what I mean? So, a lot of these people, I show some grace because at the end of the day, they don't know. They really don't. But I just dislike the view that these people try to portray on Islam. Oh, this is the number one threat to America. Okay. I hear you. Am I saying that there aren't Muslims that are a threat to America? Of course I'm not saying that. Of course there is. Just like there's Jews that are threats to America who keep putting us in massive wars. But for some reason, we're allies with them. We love them for whatever reason. Oh, that's right, because they're fighting the Muslims. So, yeah, man, it's a wicked conversation. That's why I don't really talk about religion too much. But I want to just, because there's a brother I follow. I said it on a previous joint. I showed a clip of him. But it's a brother I follow, very good brother, very knowledgeable, even though he's sort of a scholar in some ways. Definitely well-versed, well-studied. And the thing I love about him the most is the fact that he's from San Diego, grew up in the gang life, lost people to the gang thing and all that. Started following, kind of like what I did, which is started studying religion in general. Like, I've been to Kingdom Halls, I've been to black churches, I've been to Catholic churches, I've been to temples. I study religion. I read the Bible. I read the Torah. I don't disrespect the Bible. I don't disrespect the Torah. Definitely don't disrespect the Quran. But you have people like, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying you'll have other people who disrespect the Quran, disrespect other people's religion and things like that. A Muslim won't do that. We don't disrespect Jesus the way Christians disrespect the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, it's a deep conversation. People mostly, especially in America, are stuck on what they grew up on, which is understandable. I'm just open-minded to different things. I want to learn. You know what I mean? And plus, how can I speak on things if I don't know about it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like do the bare minimum. Just because you read the Quran don't make you Muslim. You know what I mean? So, but if you're going to make statements about the Quran, about what's in the Quran, at least read it. At least read it. Minimum. You know what I mean? I'm Muslim, but I read the Bible. I still read the Bible. Like, it's nothing wrong with it. It's called learning. Anyway, got kind of off, but she's Muslim, and the thing she stands for isn't the same thing with Mom Donnie in New York. He's Muslim. He claims to be Muslim, but things that he does is not Islam. And that's why I played that. If you go to my shorts, there's a former extremist. So I'm guessing he was a guy that was an extreme Muslim at one point, converted or whatever. But he was talking about how, of course, people want people on the left, which is Democrats, in office. You know what I mean? Of course, they're going to say whatever they need to say. People like Ilhan Omar will say whatever she has to say to get to where she's trying to get to. These people have... I believe that Ilhan Omar got some type of agenda in her country with her people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not shocking. Look what she's doing. You know what I mean? And I can't say about Mamdani yet, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of the same thing with him too. You know what I mean? You don't know these people because, bro, if you claiming to be Muslim and you're saying you support LGBTQ and all of that stuff, you're not Muslim. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean you have to behead, because people be taking stuff so far. They be taking stuff so far, bro. Like they take stuff so far. They act like if you're gay and you go to like a Muslim country, they're gonna just shoot you in the back right then and there.
This report out.
It's if you start trying to like what they do here, which is like put it in, like trying to like put this on people, you come here with your, just like, things that when you go to a Muslim country, you got to respect the country. They talk about, oh, why do women y'all oppressing women, they wear the hijab. And no, that's because women respect themselves, their body, and they're for their husband. It's not for everybody. If you take just a simple experiment, it's been done. If you take a woman dressed in some tights, shoulders out, whatever, your breast showing, don't matter where she go. Every man is going to break their neck, look at her, and then they'll all be, oh my God, it's so disgusting. Every man is looking at me because my titties are out. Like, put a hijab on, they won't even look at you. That's why women wear a hijab. And because they love Allah, they respect the law, and they wear hijab because they respect the husband. That's why they wear hijab. So when people be, oh, y'all are oppressing, Muslims oppress women. Did you ask women, are they oppressed that wear hijab? There's women in the United States that wear hijab all the time. Do you go up to them and, are you oppressed? Is your husband beating you at home? No, she just respects her husband. Some things, a lot of American women don't.
A critical moment for Somalia. This is one of the conclusions the UN Special Rapporteur on Counterterrorism and Human Rights made following his official visit to the conflict-torn country earlier this month. Somalia has been struggling for years to fight back against terrorism. Its political system is fragile, weakened by corruption, power struggles, and a severe lack of resources.
The centralization of political power, irregular and contested processes of constitutional reform, which have alienated some federal member states, excessive political influence of some major clans. So here I urge Somalia to embark on a genuinely inclusive, bottom-up, transparent and meaningful national political dialogue to ensure political power is fairly distributed and includes minorities, and to redouble efforts to combat corruption.
So as you just heard it there, they've got all types of corruption going on. It's not fair and balanced amongst the people. You got groups, terrorist groups that are coming in there wrecking stuff. And she always has the audacity to open her big mouth and talking negative about America. Do you know what type of cojones it takes for that? As a matter of fact, with all of the cases that were going on, these clowns, they tried to bribe one of the jurors in the Feed Our Future case. Here's what she did. Dozens and dozens of Somali refugees in your district in Minnesota thanked the U.S. by defrauding American taxpayers of $250 million meant to feed children. They set up fake meal programs and pocketed the cash. For one trial, the defendant's associates tried to bribe a juror with a cash bag and instruct her to tell others the prosecution was racist. This is the bag of cash they left on a woman's porch, and they say they selected her because
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. It's the nigga in me. I ain't gonna lie, but I would have took that bread. They innocent. They innocent. I'm taking that money. Say, no, I'm just playing. But yo, damn, that was a lot of bread, bro. I know that motherfucker was thinking about it at minimum. So they must have told though, it was like, yo, they trying to bribe me. Damn. Good Samaritans out there in America. I'd have been like, oh, how much? Hold on. 100, 200. Oh shit. Hold on, you know what? I'm kind of getting amnesia a little bit. I forget what the person's name was.
she was the youngest. No, she was the only person of color on the jury, and she was one of the youngest. So here's what it says. Conspirators conducted online research to obtain Juror 52's personal information, including her home address and information about her background and family members. They conducted surveillance of Juror 52 to confirm her home address and obtain information about Juror 52's daily habits. One of the conspirators followed Juror 52 home as she left the courthouse during the trial, and they purchased a GPS tracking device to covertly install on Juror 52's car in order to track her movements. As part of the scheme, the conspirators obtained approximately $200,000 in cash to be delivered and paid to Juror 52 as a bribe in exchange for a not guilty verdict in the trial. The conspirators drafted a list of instructions for Juror 52 that included directions for her to vote not guilty on all counts for defendants and to convince all the remaining jurors to mark not guilty for all defendants in all counts. The conspirators compiled a list of arguments to convince other jurors, many of which appeared designed to convince Juror 52 that the prosecution was motivated by racial animus.
Oh my God, bro. Racism. Bro, 200,000. She probably was like, yo, hold on, bro. Y'all trying to get me locked up. Bitch, I ain't trying to end up like, yo. Cause you gotta think, 200, that's a lot of cash. If what's she gonna do with it? Because if she deposits that money, like, they're going to be like, where did you get this from? I don't know. It just was outside of my porch. Yo, these people are corrupt as shit. $250 million, dog. Like, bro, this money is so crazy, bro. The amounts of money. Even the $5 million, I forget her name, but she stole like $5 million through her I think her and her brother have some type of, I think, insurance company or something like that, and they funneled $5 million. Well, they had a bid or something on they had some type of contract, and they overpaid $5 million, and they kept it, or whatever the case may be. It was something along them lines. But they said that was like a salary for like a long time. So it's like $250 million, bro. It's so much money. We talking about like their salaries for like a lot of people, bro. And I'm talking about for years. And these people are just funneling it like it's nothing, just stealing it like it's nothing. And you have this going on across the United States with so many different people, so many different scams that they're funneling money through, whether it's through contracts. Because like I said before, what they do is they'll get these contracts, basically overpay massively. Like if they build a plane and it costs I don't know. I'm just using a hypothetical number. It's probably more, but you know, let's just say it costs $500,000 to build a specific plane. Like they're gonna pay, you know, 1.5 million, you know, $2 million to build the same plane. That's the type of things that they do to funnel money in so many different ways, though. Like this is a massive problem in the United States of America, and I mean probably everywhere else too. But we're from here, and this is what, you know, it matters here. And this is massive, bro. This is just one situation. I keep saying this because this is just one singular situation. This is it's so much more that's going on. Think about all of the different things that Doge already brings to light that everybody's just forgotten about. So many different things that these people are using to funnel money. And that's why I said, bro, this is why they hate Donald Trump. Because all of their little money schemes are coming to an end. But the scary part is, bro, is that we have elections. And unfortunately, until we have, you know, voter ID, where you gotta have a proof of ID to vote and actually have integrity back into voting, it's going to always be that possibility of some type of fraud going on or some type of loophole. So, damn. It's just sad, though, because when you ultimately think, I'm going to get back to the video, it's just like, damn, we're all Americans. But, like, forget, like, people like Ilhan Omar, because, like, I expect the type of things that she's doing and saying, I kind of expect that from her, you know, because ultimately she's really not American. She's Somalian, right? So her kind of being a snake, and it's not really surprising to me. Like, it's really not. Like, and it shouldn't be to you. But a lot of these, you know, the Hakeem Jeffries, the Chuck Schumers, Nancy Pelosi's, like, you know, like all these people that have been just defrauding the government for so long. It's like kind of, it's fucked up, bro. It's kind of like these people are really pieces of shit, man. It's actually crazy.
Democrat go-to card. When you cannot validate your point, call racism. And, you know, and this is what happens when you have this type of immigration. We saw Mexicans waving their flags. Listen, I'm all about being proud of where you from. But if it was so great, why didn't you stay there? Why did you risk your life going across those terrains, spending tens of thousands of dollars paying coyotes to get you over here? You know, a coyote is a smuggler, a human smuggler. Why would you do all of that if your land was so great? They full of it. And Victor David Hanson, he did a report, and it was by Dick Lamb, the former Colorado governor, when he spoke in 2001. And his speech was, if I wanted to destroy America. And what he talked about is how you would open up the borders, you would allow people to flow in, and you would encourage them to continue their cultural practices within America. That weakens the loyalty to America, that weakens the unity of America. And therefore, if there's an uprising, each cultural group will fight for themselves rather than for the country. And when that happens, and it weakens the fabric of the nation, it weakens our customs, it weakens our loyalty to the flag, that's when the country can be overthrown and taken over, which is what Soros and other power brokers like him want. The destabilization of America to make the entire country slaves. That are stepping up and talking about racist everything. And I mean, I saw a video clip of Ilhan Omar saying it's disgusting.
They showed the video that I showed yesterday, him breaking down, you know, the massive amounts of money from 3 million all the way up to 400 million and all of that stuff, and how it's going directly to Al-Shabaab, allegedly. So definitely a lot of corruption in this situation. Let's see what else Brian Maxwell said at the end of this
thing. That she thinks white people in America are disgusting, and it's like, how dare you? You're not even from here. So you coming over here kicking up racial problems between my white brothers and sisters and people of color. Those of us who have no problem with them. Those of us who aren't victims. Those of us who do know that there's good and bad in every group. There's terrible racist black people. There's terrorist racist Asian people and Irish and whatever you want to name it. So to isolate a group Ain't that the same issue that people of color had back in the day that said how wrong it is and we need to be done away with it? But then they bring up DEI, which was nothing more than reverse racism, spearheaded by this commie socialist, Ilhan Omar, and her ilk. So as you see all of that fraud, and look at war-torn Somali. That's other Somalians that are linked to Al-Qaeda tearing up that doggone country, dominating the people, taking the lives of the citizens, overruling the government, destroying 22% of the businesses.
And that's just gang. That's just like, it's like gang type activity. You know what I mean? Like in them countries, it's like, you know, a specific set of people who got a leader that just want to be a rebel and fuck the government. They just be doing wild shit. So, you know, yeah, man, it's I just can't believe it. Honestly, I can't, bro. I be sitting here really, like when I be going through these stories and stuff, like throughout the day, when I be trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about, who videos I'm going to, you know, react to and talk about, I just be really, it really trips me out, to be honest with you. It really trips me out on how much corruption it is. Like, we knew, everybody knows it is. Like, don't get it fucked up. On both sides, in the government in general, the government is entirely too big. But it's like how much hatred it is and division, and now they trying to, you know, equate fucking LGBT and all of these illegal immigration with civil rights, and just so much going on at one time in this country. And that's not even, you know, you got to worry about, as a president, you got to worry about, you know, foreign, you know, allies and enemies, what's going on outside of your country, and making sure things are kind of level-headed, trying to make big deals and trade. Like, yo, being a president is a serious job. Now, a lot of people say, man, they just puppets. And I don't think, this is my honest opinion, bro. I don't think Trump is a puppet. I just don't. I just don't. The things that he says, the things that he does, it's not scripted. Like, you know, Obama was the best. I'll give him this. Obama was the best at communication. He was the best, bro. I give it to the Obama was a beast. Like, he knew how to go out on stage, well educated, vocabulary spectacular, flawless, almost. Like, Obama was a beast at that. And see, Trump, not as educated as Obama as far as like vocabulary and all of that, but in the same thing. Like, Trump could go out there and just speak his mind. And that's what people relate to with Trump. Most of these politicians, even when you see them on, you know, small segments on news stations, they reading little, like, it's scripted. It's scripted. These people, this is why I will always say they don't care about you. They don't. They want to see, and that's the thing. Like, I just be thinking in my mind, like, why would you want to hurt America? Because ultimately it hurts you too. Yeah, you may be benefiting on the back end in some way, but these things directly affect you too, because you still live here. Yeah, like, so some of the things that's going on, I just don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I really don't. You know, and I guess it's just chaos. They just want to cause chaos, I guess. And it's a bigger picture to this stuff, but I don't know, bro. But the scariest thing is, though, is you don't know what these people are going to do. You know what I mean? Like, these people are desperate, bro. They're not winning against Trump. Everything they throw at him, he's boomeranging right back to them. He's literally winning on pretty much every issue. And they don't really have nothing for him. So at some point, the desperation is going to, you know, come to a point where they're willing to do anything, bro. These people, that's the scary part, bro. And I keep saying that because when it happens, I don't want you to be shocked that it happened, because I don't put nothing past none of these people, bro. That's why I have no. I voted for Trump. I fuck with Trump. I agree with a lot of things Trump stands on. I believe Trump is America first, a real American. He really cares about America, like, and you could tell. You know what I mean? Like, even when you go back to Trump in the 80s, when you see him in interviews and he talks, and like, he really cares about America. He really loves America. He loves his country, just like Ilhan Omar probably loves her country, where she's, like, you know what I mean? So a lot of these other people, though, is just maybe just the money, bro. I don't know, bro. It's weird. It's just a weird. I'm like, I got mixed feelings about it because it's crazy. Like, when you see how much money, and then they want to talk about, because that's the thing. They'll say, oh, you know, this is patriotic. We're, you know, even with the subsidies, like, bro, if they cared, they would agree with Trump. Let's give it to the people. Let's make it an account. People that are getting Obamacare right now, instead of giving it directly to the insurance companies, they would have given it directly to the people. If you're for the people, why didn't you agree with Trump? That's a solution. Yeah, it may not be on paper and exactly how we're going to do it, but it's a good idea. Let's bring it to the table. You bring your people, we bring our people, and we come up with a system. That's all it really is going to boil down to, is coming up with a system for people to be able to access this money and pay for an affordable health insurance plan. You know what I mean? But they don't care about the people. They want this to go to the millionaires and the billionaires that they bitch and complain about so much that Donald Trump loves. But meanwhile, everything that Trump is doing, like, for instance, you know, Trump made when him and Elon was going at it for a little bit, he made the statement that Elon is mad because I took away, he had some contracts with the government through Biden that Biden gave him, but he took them from him. And he said that Elon was mad about that. So basically, even though he had a good relationship with Elon helped him get elected, and played a role in that, he still didn't play favoritism because he helped them. So when I see stuff like that, but yet they're trying to convince you and me that this man is a Nazi and he's a fascist and he's trying to be a dictator and he wants to shoot Americans and kill Americans and all of this goofy shit. I just can't believe it, bro. I can't roll with it. Plus, it wasn't until he actually came down that golden escalator that y'all started hating on him and started going on your little mission. So it's politics. Politics is wicked as fuck, though. I'll tell you that much. For real. It's a killer be killed sport in that arena. But anyway, though, man, I'm just ranting, man. Yo, thank y'all for, you know, sticking in there with me, man. It's your boy SL550. This is the N.G.L.A. podcast. Until tomorrow, I'm out. Oh, make sure you hit that like button, share button, subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until tomorrow, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.